So we start to speak from the scratch, and let's look what we're talking about. At first, getting started with Acronis Cyber Platform API. So what we need to start to develop for them, yeah? Authorization. It's a really, you need to be authorized to make API calls. So how to deal with this, how to create a needed level of credentials with to access specific API and to have all the automation happens. Then the first basic thing, manage tenants. What is tenants? Just let's say practically all objects are tenants. So there's partners, customer, unit folders. We drill down in this concept a little bit, in more details a little bit lately. The next question, you created tenants, then you need to provision some services and set up your quotas, set up some specific offering items. It means what you want to protect, how specifically, and so on, so on, so on. So we just deal with this. It's a quite sophisticated topic, so we will spend a lot of time with them. Then manage users. Of course, if you want to provide access somebody, you need to create users. So you need to know how to create user, how to provide additional settings, security setting, and as well, I just want to tell you that this training was updated to outline all the recent changes in API. It means we have, as we continuously working on API improvements, this training contains latest information about additions, offering items, as well some improvements in API which you requested. Our partners and customers requested previously. We will continuously update this training. So you always, if you participate live or then just watch it, you always see, let's say, last versions. This version specifically, let's say, mostly for September API updates. Not all, but what is important to scenario we discussed here. Then some simple question: how are you? If you want to show tenant usage how to deal with this stuff, and let's say not one of the important things, you not only want to automate tenant and accounts creation flow, you want to automate billing stuff. So we will discuss how to automate billing stuff now and what you can expect in the future. And finally, it's kind of very small topic: how to deal with location and storages. In most cases, you can use it just to filter, just to apply some logic on offering management, and we as well discuss it. So as you can see, we just discussed all main flow for account management. There are other topics like branding and some other stuff which can be discussed at the last hour of our training if you have some specific request. So let's start. Getting started with Acronis Cyber Platform API. Okay, so to start with Acronis Cyber Platform API, you need to have at first access to our cloud. Yeah, so you need some partner tenant to create all the hierarchy. Normally, it means that you somehow receive partner administrator credentials, and we will discuss how you can achieve it if you're just a developer and don't have any test environment provided by your company. Then you need some tooling stuff. It may be Postman, it may be some scripting language or some other language. Because it's just classical REST API, you can use any language, any frameworks which support REST API and use it. Let's say you don't need you can use the frameworks or tooling you like to. This course is almost built for Postman, Bash, PowerShell, and some Python examples. Most demanded tooling options I received from customer and partners. As well, you can use browser for simple calls like get and other stuff. Currently, in our REST API, which we discussed, we have only 4 calls for HTTP methods. In reality, there are much bigger list for them, but we have now get, post, put, and delete. Get, it's you just retrieve information. Post, you create something. Put, you update something. And delete, of course, delete. In most cases, in our API, we, let's say, only one, I believe, request is just different than JSON, JSON body. If you connect to post put, so you just create JSON, send JSON, and receive JSON, or just use get and receive JSON. Quite simple, as in all REST API. Of course, we have a lot of documentation now and guides how to deal with our API, but the simplest approach how to start, and this option available, you know, a long period of time, it just use kind of REST RAML description of our API. You know, it's normally it's look like this. I will show you a little bit lately. So how to deal with this? You just need to go to your data center, which you select, then go and just use this link directly. It even don't need to be, you don't need to be authenticated, as I remember, or you can use links just on your inside your management console. So let's walk with this stuff. So we have this, you know, I already logged in my sandbox. We'll discuss a little bit lately how to receive access here, and then I just can go settings, integrations, and RESTful API. And as you can see, this you can see just open the same URL to show you. Let me show you that it would be same dev cloud API docs. You can see the same. Just return here. Close it. Wait a little bit. And in reality, this is the last updated API reference. So you can go anywhere. For example, let's check some, you know, for example, for tenants, updated lately. Okay, we're gonna press tenant. For example, you know, here, perform edition switching check dry run mode. It just updated in August updates of cloud, and it is already here. And the all other update as well. And here it's just the real edition switching, for example. So you always can use it as reference for API. Even you can even use this as a, you know, kind of tooling to send the receive request, but I normally prefer Postman or any other tooling, which might be a little bit more useful if you want to save response or something like this. Okay, let's go next. The next is very important part. Of course, you have this RAML stuff, yeah, and you just can look through it. But you know, even now, you have a lot of endpoints which normally might be not useful for you, or you don't know what kind of endpoints you need to use to perform some specific business tasks. So we constantly, our documentation team constantly work to improve our documentation. Of course, we have reference like you see in RAML, but just, you know, on our documentation side. But as well, we have a lot of management guides. So let's look on this stuff. Just return here and go here. developers Acronis.com, documentation, like move to the account management, and you can see here, it's just practically the same reference as in RAML. A little bit more maybe convenient stuff. So let's say tenant with more clear naming, like for example, what we can check, tenant edition switch dry run, the same which we check, you know. Remember, we just a little bit the same, but a little bit maybe convenient with some additional, but it's the same content as in RAML. Nothing changed here. And guides, which we saw before. Here we have specifically created guides which help you to perform specific tasks. For example, how to manage tenants. Here you can see here, create tenants, fetching information. I can check it. Okay. Creating tenants, fetching informations, and you can see it here. As well, if we return to the domain itself, in addition to documentation, you have samples, or you can see it from here. You have samples, forum, let's open samples, forum, blog, and as well, constantly updated Postman collection. So just GitHub with samples, forum, when I normally answer, blog with mostly my articles, and of course, let me say daily updatable Acronis Cyber Platform collection, which you may use during this training, because it specifically contains flow for hands-on lab. You can see this training flow. But in addition, it contains a lot of calls, including some runners, which, let's say, name clearly what is it, with parameters. For example, let me switch here. Like, let's check the same thing, switch edition dry run. So you can see this, how it should look like. Bearer token authorization, and see examples, and see examples how it will look, with responses. For example, here switch edition dry run, okay, and then switch edition with answer. So you can see these examples and all other stuff from Postman, and import it in your Postman just in one click. So just push run in Postman, and that's all. I already have it imported, and you can do it if you want, because as I tell, this training flow absolutely designed for our training. Let's switch back. So now you know almost all about basic resources to deal with our API. I normally use Postman just because it's simple to use it, but you can use any tooling for REST API which you would like to use. Let me show you my Postman. So it's just Postman with imported collection. You can see it's Acronis Management API collection, which is 142 requests with full updated and a little bit automated. So if you just imported it, as it use environment, so it has some internal variables to store values. For example, when I request for authorization token, we will discuss it a little bit lately, I just have some simple automation scripts to put it to specific variables, so you don't need to put it by self. If you use my Postman collection available publicly on Postman network, as well, I add these simple things for some common stuff. It is not in your training flow stuff, because training flow folder in this collection, because I want you to, let's say, to feel what you need to use as parameters on the other calls. But this collection, which mostly can be useful to create prototypes or some proof of concepts, I just try to automate it as much as possible. For example, these runners which perform full business tasks, like create partner, assign all available editions and offering items. So, like this one. Let me back to the presentation. Browser development tools. In some cases, if you can't catch how something works, you can use browser tools to understand flows from Acronis management portal. I would say it's a little bit advanced technique, because you need to understand what you want to look for, and you have a lot of calls and need to filter out. But it might be useful in some non-clear cases when you want, for example, to replicate something you see in management console and can't find in my postpone collection or documentation how to deal with this stuff. Let's quickly look how it works. So let me return to the Acronis Cyber Platform. I just go to overview, or just here, yeah? So for example, if I want to F12, if I want to check something, for example, I run F12, and now I can manage if I want to record it or stop, just clear. Okay, let's stop it. And for example, okay, run. And for example, I want to check what can be done if I go, for example, for users. You can see just some calls here. And if I move, you can see these calls. Yeah, for example, this call is API 2, which we look into, and it asks about information regarding tenants, batch call for tenants, and in response, for example, we just see this information regarding tenants, and then we just request information about users as well, API 2, which we normally use. Check access policies as well, API 2. So you can see this just get request to access this information. If I want to change something, you can see as well here the same. So it might give you some ideas how to deal with API, but normally, let me tell that after you attend this course, you will know how to perform almost all tasks. But in any case, I just want to tell about this technique because somehow, sometimes it can really help you if you just hang on something and don't know how to move next. Okay, almost clear. And the final thing, we have complicated audit log. And if you perform some calls and see unexpected results or something like this, or want to check, you can look into the audit log on our portal and understand what happened. And it might be helpful when you develop something and when you want to drill into. We have kind of comprehensive error answers, but sometimes you might want to look into to check what happened. So you can go to the portal and look and see these JSON fields. So let me show you again. It's just audit log. And for example, you can see how it's just me preparing environment, because it's my test environment and I normally create, delete. Let's look here. I issued by API, here API, access token issued for this stuff, system, IPI client, Postman demos. It's just, it was done by me, so you can see it's just create Postman demo, and I can see, you can see, we will look into how I did it. I just put my user agent here as well. It's my IP address, and you can see all this stuff like what happened here, date, parent, and all other things you might be interested into when you want to, let's say, debug something or drill down into some issues, or just have some something which can help you to understand how to follow with your API flow.